Good evening, grave robbers, and welcome back to the television graveyard. We are your TV necromancers, Laura Prince and Noah Houlihan. We have come here tonight to examine past television shows to find out which ones could be resurrected, should be resurrected, and which ones should just stay doomed. This is a podcast in which we'll analyze the history, the hype, and the aftermath of shows that ran only one season or only one episode. With me, as always, is TV's Noah Houlihan.
I can't imagine a situation where I'd have to prove I bought a donut.
There's not even like a line in this.
Yes, it is.
He cuts off before that. Oh no, he cuts off before.
It cuts off right after that.
So, today we are doing the Mitch Hedberg Project.
Yes, so first, I guess a bit of housekeeping. I know we said we were going to be doing Electric Mayhem next.
Yes.
But we're going to save that for a little bit. But we hadn't talked to you guys in a while. So we found that recently, this was lost media for a long time, and a few months ago,
Doug Stanhope
found
the VHS in his attic.
Yes.
Where it was.
Yeah.
It was in his attic, and he found it and then uploaded it.
Yes, this is the Mitch Hedberg Project. This is a stand-up comedy tour show that was meant for MTV, starring comedian Mitch Hedberg and a cast of crazy characters. It opens, if you don't know who Mitch Hedberg is, Mitch Hedberg was one of the greatest stand-up comedians of the early 2000s. He passed away, I want to say, in 2006. Maybe even earlier than that, maybe 2005. Because I remember being devastated.
He died in 2005.
2005, yes. And he was just a fantastic one-liner stand-up comedian who died tragically. And to find out that there was a show that he was planning on doing was very exciting. So I was like, let's sit down and watch this. And we did.
Mitch Hedberg is one of those comedians that, if you don't know who he is, you probably do and don't realize it.
Yes.
If you've ever been somewhere where the escalator has been broken and someone nearby says, "Escalator temporarily stairs. Sorry for the convenience."
That is Mitch Hedberg.
I frequently quote Mitch Hedberg to this very day.
Yes. I love Mitch Hedberg. He's so funny. And just to get a little bit more Mitch was like very exciting prospect to me. And it opens with him explaining that he is going on tour. And it opens with a great Mitch Hedberg line of,
Comcast go on the road because the crowds refuse to tour. You know, I try to get a crowd to tour, and we all stay in one place, but they won't do it.
Yes, and he also does a great set about being on Letterman.
yes, I love this joke.
I've been on the David Letterman show 7 times, which is amazing, but I'm still not famous from being on that fucking show. That's the depressing part. Like, I could be on a TV show, and I could be the mystery celebrity, and they wouldn't have to hide me. But that's my favorite introduction. You may have seen this next comedian on the David Letterman show, but I believe more people have seen me at the store. And that would be a better introduction. You may have seen this next comedian at the store. And people would say, "Hell yes, I have." He likes cereal.
Because his first Letterman appearance didn't make broadcast.
Right.
So the live audience saw, but no one else did. So he said, "You have not seen me on Letterman. More people have seen me at the store."
Yes.
I got paid $900 to eat cantaloupe.
That really speaks to me, because when I was really on the comedian grind, I'm still a stand-up comedian, but I'm not on the grind that I used to be. I used to be on a very hardcore grind. And during that time, people would walk up to me and go, "Hey, I know you. You work at Radio Shack." And that happened to me more often than I'd like to admit.
I was seldom recognized for, like, present day on stage, but at one point was recognized in my 20s for being the lead in my senior musical.
Oh, that's wild.
And was like, but I was at the mall shopping and someone was like, oh, were you this part in this play? And I was like, excuse me? Yes, but that was an extremely long...
Yeah, big fan of high school theater.
Yeah, it was very strange. Also kind of like, complimentary in my skincare routine.
Yeah. So there's a graphic that pops up that says the average comedian spends 295 days on the road. This is going to document Mitch's time on the road. This is, if you're a fan of Dane Cook, it's very similar to Tourgasm, where Dane Cook took some of his friends and you just kind of followed him on tour. But this is going to be the Mitch Hedberg version of this. So he is bringing Chuck, who is his bass player, because since Mitch is kind of a one-line comic, he likes to have, like, some strumming music behind him. Yeah,
who I missed, because we do not, outside of seeing him play bass in the background, we don't really hear much from Chuck.
We don't hear much from Chuck. Lynn
Shawcroft, who's a comedian in her own right, she's also Mitch Hedberg's wife.
Yes, did not know Mitch was married.
Yes, they were married until he passed.
Rico, who is a man I've never seen before or again.
Who's his MC. I'm going to guess that's like the host he usually prefers to tour with.
Yes.
Because some clubs provide a host. And then I'm sure some comics prefer to BYO host.
Yes. This is a common practice. I've had people that I know that were like set to host at certain clubs be told, sorry, I brought my own host.
And I believe you have been brought in to host.
I've been brought in to host a few shows, yeah. But Rico is a large black man with a very unique haircut and beard. He kind of looks like the Key and Peele characters from the Airplane sketch.
Okay.
It's just like very like... No one would normally wear their facial hair like this. And finally, Eddie the Possum.
I'm not a Jerry Seinfeld, I'm just a possum.
Eddie the Possum Man.
Woof.
And I want to point this out. On screen it says Eddie the Possum Man, possum starting with a P. Eddie wears a shirt that says possum, but it's spelled correctly as opossum.
Yes.
So immediately out of the gate, screwing up possum lore. So these are going to be our characters. More on there's a big question I want to ask about this towards the end, but these are going to be our cast of characters here. I find it very strange that we don't get anyone's last names.
No,
You found Lynn because it was Mitch's wife.
Yes, when I was doing research for the episode, I found Lynn Shawcroft's name.
Yes.
Because she was also looking for this pilot. At one point, she actually reached out to Doug Stanhope on Twitter looking for this. And he found it sometime later.
Oh, interesting.
It sounds like he found it in, like, a house clean-out.
There it was.
Like a very normal... I'm sure, we are considering moving. I'm sure we are going to find all sorts of strange things.
Oh, I'm sure.
When it gets to be about that time.
So, most of this show is going to be about Eddie the Opossum Man.
Yeah.
He says, basically, it's a character I do. I invented it. And then it cuts to him on stage screaming and pushing his ears up.
I don't do regular stand-up right? I do stand-up, but I don't. But the possum is very different. It's something I incorporated. It's my own bit. I originated it. I invented it. I'm the possum.
And when we say screaming, I don't want you to think he was screaming words.
No. He was making possum noises. I've never heard a possum make a noise.
No, and I watch more possum videos than average.
In college, one of my floor mates had a possum. So
Hold up.
yeah. So I was in our lounge on the computer, and as I'm just kind of typing, a possum just kind of enters my peripheral vision. They had just caught a possum. And possums just kind of like play dead. They play possum. So I never saw the possum move other than when they tried to pick him up, it would hold the carpet and be like, stop picking me up. And he had a pet possum for 2 days, and then it pooped all over his room, and then he let it go. Not once did I ever hear it make a noise, though. Or attempt stand-up.
I remember arguing with our RA about what did and did not consist as an acceptable dorm pet.
Right.
Because did you have the rule where it had to like live in a certain
in a
size,
terrarium?
A certain size tank.
Yeah.
We had, I believe ours was a 10-gallon tank.
Yes.
And it turns out that while it is in the letter of the law, buying a teacup dog and saying he lives in the tank is not in the spirit of the law.
We were strictly fish only at my college because somebody had a lizard that had an illegal lizard and threw a blanket over it, and the heat lamp lit the dorms on fire. But getting back to the show. So
we had a lot of rodents.
We had Eddie the Possum Man. He's just like screaming and hissing at the crowd. And then he walks backstage to talk to Mitch, and he's like, I think I know where I screwed up. I think I know what my problem is here.
Oh, good.
As a stand-up comedian, I've seen my fair share of Eddie the Possum Man comics.
Boy, howdy.
They're great people. They're people that I miss. There was one guy, the Enigma. I don't know what happened to him, but his bit was that his day job was he was a hitman. So all of his bits were about murdering people. So, like, this is very common in the stand-up scene of having these kind of, like, avant-garde, anti-comedy comedy. So, the, like, big plot of this episode is Mitch trying to help Eddie.
There's a bit early on where Eddie goes, possums ain't the best joke tellers. And in my notes, I say, oh man, I get why Mitch picked him.
Yes.
The literal next shot is Mitch saying, I have no reason why I picked these people.
I have no reason why.
And that pleased me. That little bit of comic timing that he was able to make my notes funny without me realizing, like, obviously across space and time. It just made me happy.
So we get some of Mitch's stand-up, some of my favorite bits here. I have a subscription to every magazine. My mailman sends them right to my dentist, so I can pick them up later. I was following a duck through the city, and I tried to get him some bread, but Subway wouldn't sell me just bread. So I had to get lettuce on it, and then they gave it to me for free because it was for a duck. And that's how I learned ducks eat for free at Subway.
And throughout all this, through all this, because, like, there's a bunch of things that I have here that, like, got jumped. We established a few things. They do have a tour bus.
Yes.
Which I was like, ooh, look at you, fancy. Because most of the touring comics I've known are driving a car.
Yeah, but if you're making a show...
Yeah, MTV probably sprung for a bus.
You kind of need a place for the crew to be.
And a lot of the talking heads are on the roof of a building holding a coffee.
Yes.
Like, almost like they're filmed at the very end of filming, because they're all the same. Yeah. It's not him holding different coffees on different rooftops. It very much feels like they got to the end of filming and went, oh no, we need some connective tissue.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
But it looks very, this was filmed in 2001, summer 2001, but it looks very 90s MTV.
Yes,
absolutely. It kind of goes with the 90s ended on 9/11 theory of, like, this looks like, You would guess 1998.
That kind of grainy jackass look.
That grainy, like, kind of Dutch angle
Yeah.
look where, like, everything's kind of slanted. And when he's encouraging Eddie, he says, the better you're set, the more t-shirts you move. And he also has a great joke about having a 2-bedroom house.
I don't remember this one.
He says, like,
I bought a house. I bought a 2-bedroom house. But it's up to me how many bedrooms there are, though, isn't it? This bedroom has an oven in it. This bedroom has a lot of people sitting around watching TV. This bedroom is AKA a hallway. This bedroom's over in that guy's house.
That guy has one of my bedrooms.
and we get this great shot of Mitch doing super, super well after Possum Man said tough crowd. And Possum Man desperately trying to move merch
Yeah, trying to
as
sell
people walk
t-shirts.
by him.
Yes.
Which is something I've seen 1,000 times.
Oh, yeah. When I was on that grind, trying to sell the gimmicks, it never feels good. And they're, like, basically the whole crux of this show, or this episode, I guess, is Mitch trying to help Eddie. He says, like, Eddie, like, this time, go out there, do your 4 best jokes, then do the possum stuff.
Yeah, tries to get him to, like, get the crowd to kind of work with him for a little bit first.
And instead, he does the possum stuff, and then there's, like, a talking head of him saying,
I think my character is not really meant to play small little venues like this. I think what I invented was made for bigger clubs. This particular club it's in a mall. Come on, it's not an A1 comedy, event, but it's a very hard club to play.
which is, like, the thing that bad comics say.
Yeah.
For those, this is kind of a Lost Media podcast as well as, One Season Wonders. My holy grail of Lost Media is there is a documentary called No Joke,
Okay.
made by, I want to say his name is Vibranium 6000, the human vibrator.
Okay.
And it is the story of 4 open mic comics that believe that they are good comics, but they can't get out of the open mics because open mic crowds are bad. If they could just be given a chance, people would like him. And these 4 open mic comics go on a comedy tour that ends at the Comedy Store.
Which is like a legendary club.
And I have never seen this movie. I don't think it was ever really released. I had reached out to the human vibrator and was like, I need to see this movie. Any chances you could just send me a copy? It is like, we're currently not producing copies, but I'll let you know. And I never got it. Ooh. But, like, that spoke to me so much, just this idea of, like, the reason I'm not doing well is I'm so good, it doesn't work here. Like, that level of delusion super speaks to me.
It's so interesting to me because open mics are not always like, you can do kind of poorly at an open mic and still be actually a fairly good comic because open mics are not real audiences.
Exactly.
But a lot of what people are trying to get out of now is what are called bringer shows.
Right.
Do you want to explain what a bringer show is to
basically
our friends here?
The way that comedy works is you start at open mics where you try to get enough material that you can fill 5 to 10 minutes. Then you get to do bringer shows. That's where we'll let you perform, but you got to bring 10 people.
Yeah.
And you don't get paid. You're losing money to do them. Then you can kind of like try to do contests and things like that. The idea is eventually while you are doing these bringer shows, you will pass. Where the club's like, you are funny enough to hang around all the time. We believe that you're going to be something. You don't have to bring people anymore.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, when you pass, that is a club saying, eventually, you will be big enough that your name will bring people.
Yes.
Because all shows are bringer shows.
Yeah, every single show anyone ever does is a bringer show, but when, say, Shane Gillis does an arena tour, Shane Gillis is bringing more than 10 people.
Yes, and when he does an arena show, it sells out because he's Shane Gillis. He's not going to do arena shows if nobody would come because he's Shane Gillis.
Yeah, like, at that point, it's just not 10 people you personally know anymore.
Right, exactly. So, just hearing this, like, it really hit my, like, comedy nerve. I also want to say, we do see Rico do a little bit of comedy.
Yes.
Rico gets on stage and, like, kills the vibe of the crowd. He just kind of sits there and doesn't talk. He puts his finger up to his lips. And once it gets real quiet, he goes, "Hi." And it's funny because his voice does not match his body.
Right.
And then he kind of does like, "Oh, did you expect my voice to be down here?" It's another like avant-garde character bit. And it's funny, but it's one of those things that are funny, but it's not going to make you famous. Do you remember Last Comic Standing?
I didn't watch a lot of it.
The winner of that was a guy named Dat Fan.
Yes.
Who a friend of mine is actually doing a show with Dat Fan very soon. But Dat Fan won, and winning was kind of hurtful to him because his opening bit was he would come out with a very thick Asian accent and then go, "Don't worry, I don't actually talk like that." But now when you have people that know you because you're the guy who won Last Comic Standing, you can't really open with that because everybody already knows you don't talk like that because they're already fans of you.
Right.
So seeing this guy do that bit, I was like, okay, you're funny, but like, I need to see more of you. And then we don't, unfortunately.
We also see one joke about Lynn Shawcroft, like one of Lynn Shawcroft's jokes.
Yes.
I loved this joke. She talks about wanting to do adult content, but she doesn't want to do just any adult content. She wants to also, like, teach crafts while she's doing it. And I put in my notes, Lynn Shawcroft would have loved OnlyFans in this time period.
Yeah.
Because, like, that would, you gotta get a gimmick.
I wrote down the line, I don't want to just do porn because my family's already done that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great line. So, we have another, like, we have a guy that, like, heckles for no reason. Don't understand what that was about. There's a heckler that yells, like, "Don't shoot me."
Yeah.
Don't know what that's all about. But we then get a bit where Mitch is like, "I want to do something nice for Eddie. So I'm going to put him in touch with a talent agent to kind of, like, help him. But I'm not going to get him a real one. It's my friend Doug Stanhope." Which is why Doug Stanhope has this videotape. So,
this is over a shot of Eddie with his head out the bus window like a dog.
Yes.
By the way. And,
like a possum.
Because right before the Doug Stanhope bit, they talk about how the club they're performing in Santa Rosa is in a mall. Mm-hmm. And he does this is a hard venue.
Yes.
But we can hear Mitch Hedberg killing in the background.
Crushing.
Like, he is saying this to the camera while Mitch Hedberg is having the kind of set comedians pray for at night.
Yeah.
In the background.
So we send Eddie to this Doug Stanhope fake talent agency. This whole bit is like 2 minutes. And Doug Stanhope makes him strip to his underwear and sit on his lap.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's really weird. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't have a great laugh at the end. And that's just kind of a thing that happens. I don't have a lot after this. I know that he does some morning TV.
Yes, he does. He does like wake up. Good Day Sacramento, and I forgot that because you usually see like the Today Show, Good Morning America, the ones that are centered out of New York and air nationally.
Yes.
This is more like Wake Up San Francisco from Full House, and you're like, oh, that's right. These like Philadelphia has these as well.
Yeah,
You just
the local talk show. The
local morning show. And so they appear on Good Day Sacramento, and they're promoting. Been watching too much Schitt's Creek. We are promoting. But they're promoting that evening's show in Sacramento. And Mitch has a couple of one-liners, Lynn does as well, and then Eddie just possums.
Yes. It goes poorly, and the host says something like, well, you might get some interest out of pure curiosity there, Mitch.
Yeah, like, it becomes a liability for the show.
Yeah.
That's toward the end of the show. I think the most confounding thing about this show, Mitch makes fun of Eddie. He has a few jokes about Eddie.
Yes.
And Eddie, like, gets a girl to kiss him after the show. The weird thing about the show is that for some reason, Eddie is the lead.
Yes.
Mitch is, like, the well-meaning best friend who's good at stuff. And Eddie is, like, the hapless lead.
Yes. And that's the show.
Yeah.
They do end on the infamous donut bit, where he buys a donut and they ask him if he wants a receipt.
I bought a donut and they gave me a receipt for the donut. I don't need a receipt for a donut. I'll just give you the money, then you give me the donut. And the transaction. We don't need to bring ink and paper into this. I just can't imagine a scenario where I would have to prove that I bought a donut.
And then it cuts. And the rest of that joke is the best part, which is, don't even act like I didn't buy that donut. I got the receipt right here. No, wait, it's back in the file. Under D. For donut.
And to this day, every time I buy a donut.
Yeah.
And someone asks if I want a receipt, I politely tell the person, like, oh, no, thank you. And then I'll turn to you or whoever I'm with. I'm like, I could file it under D for donut.
Yeah. And that's basically the whole show. Like, the show just kind of ends.
It was lost media for years.
I understand why this didn't get picked up, because it lacks clear direction. Like, I was kind of getting John Mayer Has a TV Show vibes from it.
Almost like they were both MTV Johns.
Right. But that at least had, like, clear segments of what was happening. This was, like, interspliced footage of stand-up with a vague story about Eddie and not enough Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah.
So I have one big question when it comes to this show.
This show is like if you bred John Mayer Has a TV Show with Jackass with the real world.
Yeah, kind of. It is 2001.
Actually, no, excuse me. John Mayer Has a Band is if you bred this show with Jackass.
John Mayer Has a TV Show. John H. Benjamin has a band.
John Benjamin
which
has a
we
band.
still have not covered on this show.
H. John Benjamin has a band, not John H. Benjamin.
Excuse me.
We don't know what we're talking about, guys.
But
We've been running this show for almost a decade.
Here's my thing. It is important to note that this is a 2001 pilot, so reality TV isn't like... They haven't figured out the format yet. Like, you know, Survivor's 2000. Like, I know Real World's already out, but they haven't really figured out reality TV yet. Is this real? I vote that it is not. I think it is really Mitch Hedberg and really his wife. I think Rico and Eddie are not real. I think that they are playing characters for this show. I say this because if they were real stand-ups, you would give their last names. They don't give Eddie's last name. They don't give Rico's last name. But they give Doug Stanhope's last name. Also, I've done a little bit of research, not enough to play the jingle, but I do know that there is an Eddie the Possum Man documentary.
Yeah, it was released in 2019. It's like 15 minutes long.
It's not really anything. And I can't find anything about Rico existing at all beyond this show. Like, he's not listed in the IMDb page. I can't find anything about it. And there's no credits because it's a pilot.
Right.
I don't think this is real. I think these are the characters in the Mitch Hedberg show. And my biggest evidence is you give comedians last names because you want their name out there.
Yep.
But the only last name they give is Mitch Hedberg and Doug Stanhope.
Yeah, if you look at the IMDb, it has Eddie, Lynn, Mitch, and Doug, and that's it.
I did find Eddie's Facebook page, and he was like talking about the NHL playoffs. I bet we can get Eddie on this show. I bet if we reach out to Eddie the Possum Man, he will do this show.
That would not surprise me.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll reach out to Eddie the Possum Man. So,
I mean, I think these were some real dates. Like, these were clearly real shows.
that's clearly him really doing stand-up.
Yeah, like, these were... I think the Good Day Sacramento thing could be 100% staged.
It could be.
Like, they could have filmed that during a commercial break for MTV.
But I could also see Mitch thinking it is funny to go on tour with these bad comics that aren't real, that are parodies of open mic comics he has seen, and that being the show. That's my theory about this. We don't have the answer. We'll have to ask Eddie the Possum Man. What's your verdict on this?
So, I think because of the fact that it lacks a lot of structure,
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a stay doomed by virtue of the game over rule. I think the concept could have really worked.
It's fixable.
But I think it would need so much refinement to have gone to series.
Yeah.
They were also actively courting Mitch Hedberg to do sitcoms.
Yes.
Which he just could not really, like, get into. Because no one really knew how to write for him.
The only thing I can think of is he plays like a store clerk on an episode of That 70s Show. Like, Mitch has appeared a few times, but he's such just like a weird dude that it's hard to find, like, what you do with Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, like, I think, because he appeared in Howard Stern and talked about how, like, oh, one guy said he saw me as, like, a tennis instructor. And I was like, if I was going to say, like, what career you would put him in, I would say, like, a video store clerk.
Yeah.
Like, that seems to be, like, a good place to have him be, and then just bon mots about, you know, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
As he watches the world go by.
There's a Mitch Hedberg joke where he says, everybody wants me, I'm good at comedy, but now people want me to do things that are close to comedy, but are not comedy. They're like, oh, you're a good stand-up. Can you act? Can you write? Can you write us a script? Like, that's like walking up to a famous chef and saying, you're a really good chef. Can you farm? And, like, that was true frustration in Mitch Hedberg, in that he was one of the greatest stand-up comics, but he was the greatest stand-up comic. He didn't really leave that box.
I mean, had he remained, had he stayed with us and remained active into the internet era, I think that, like...
Yes.
He is still an all-timer, but I think he would have also been swimming in money. Like,
yes.
He is the exact kind of comedian that the current day internet really rewards.
I remember I had the chance to go see him in Philly at the TLA with Stephen Lynch, and I did not go. And he died shortly after.
Why
and
didn't
I
you
was
go?
Crushed. I wasn't able to get into Philly.
Oh, I thought you were just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I'm going to, stay home and play PlayStation. No, I wasn't able to make it. but it crushed me when that
I
happened.
thought you were going to say something dumb, like, oh, I had a school dance that night instead.
Yeah. But yeah, Mitch Hedberg, I might actually get a little emotional as I say this, but Mitch Hedberg is one of my absolute favorite comics. A way of writing that I will never fully understand, even as a comedian myself. Like you said, you think about him every time you see an escalator. You think about him every time you see a donut. One that I always think about, just because, like, not only is it a thing I see all the time, but I don't know how you write this joke. And it was, I like traffic lights. They're easy to understand. Green means go. Yellow means slow down. But it's the opposite with bananas. Bananas mean go right ahead. Green means hold on a second. And red means where did you get that banana? And like to write that joke is so insane. So I will leave with one of my absolute favorite quotes about Mitch Hedberg that I've ever seen, which is simply, Mitch Hedberg used to be funny. He still is, but he used to be too.
Mitch Hedberg is the perfect package.
He really is.
Let's be real. If I wrote those jokes, they still wouldn't land the same way.
No one can do it like him. And it's insane because...
To me, like, it just shows that rare, perfect relationship between presentation and writing style of you could find an unused Mitch Hedberg set in an old notebook somewhere and try to perform it tomorrow at a show, and it wouldn't land.
Because the interesting thing about, like, the lightning in the bottle with Mitch Hedberg is the late 90s were, like, one of the biggest heydays of stand-up comedy. Like, it was a time when, like, stand-up comedy was on TV all the time. Comedy Central's Friday night stand-up was, like, you would just stay in and watch stand-up comedy for, like, 3 hours. And it was catching fire so much that they were producing these half-hour specials, the Comedy Central Presents, and then releasing them on DVD as hour specials. Like, one of the first person to do that was Dane Cook. Dane Cook had a great half hour, and then on the Harmful If Swallowed DVD, CD bundle, you got the full hour of it. So everybody started to do that. And Mitch Hedberg did it. And Mitch Hedberg's hour is terrible.
Oh, no.
His half hour is amazing because editors, like, chopped it up and, like, fixed the audio. But if you watch his hour special, the crowd doesn't get Mitch Hedberg. And Mitch spends, like, the first 15 minutes, like, just trying to get the crowd, and the crowd doesn't get him. And then he sits down on the steps and gives up. And, like, you can see that moment if you watch the half-hour special where he sits down on the steps. But it's very clear that he's giving up. And he just kind of sits down and just does his jokes rapid fire, just to kind of get through them. And then they start to get it. And Mitch kind of goes, oh, you're waking up. And then he gets up and he finishes the special and destroys.
Yeah.
Because he's Mitch Hedberg. He's so good. This, like, as a stand-up comedian, I cannot give this a stay doomed. I don't care, how much Eddie the Possum was focused on. I would watch another 90 minutes of Eddie the Possum for 4 minutes of Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, I that's why I said the game over rule. I also could not give it a true stay doomed.
So that's going to do it for us here at Stay Doomed Studios. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know if you'd like us to try to get Eddie the Possum Man on this podcast, because I'd love to sit down and talk to him. We are going to be doing Electric Mayhem some point in the future. We have been unbelievably busy, and we apologize for lack of communication with you, the Stay Doomed Grave Robbers. But if you want to talk to us, you can join our Discord. It's in the links down below. Or how else can people find us?
You can email us at thestaydoomshow@gmail.com or on Blue Sky @StayDoomed.
And if you want to capture a frog in a mayonnaise jar with a stick and a leaf to remind him what he's used to, I'm at TV's Noah on Instagram.
And if you have any other Mitch Hedberg lines that have stayed with you in all these years, I'm at Laura Crane on Blue Sky. Until next time, stay tuned.